I'm sitting on my luggable loo because it makes a damn good chair. You guys hear that? That's rain. That means my mood is, and I am going to talk about money, which is not always a great, exciting subject. But let's talk about money today since it's gloomy outside, and I'm probably ain't going to go outside at all today. Money. Let's talk about why my van life is so expensive. And I've seen it in the comments. I've seen people saying, you know what, Chrome, I love what you do, but I don't think I could live van life how you live it. You travel a lot. You're always catching ferries and you're buying little things all the time. And I don't know how you do it. And so let's talk about my van life real quick at the beginning of this video before we dive into the base costs of my current van life right now and the bare bones and basics that I would have if I didn't have some parts of my life. So the reason why my van life is so expensive is because I YouTube for a living. I make 100% of my income right here creating videos for you guys to watch. And being a YouTuber comes with expenses because all business costs money to run, function, and produce. So I travel a lot, which means my gas bills are way higher than they would ever be if I didn't have a YouTube channel. I probably spend an extra $500 a month on fuel just to create videos, and that includes transportation costs like ferry rides and everything else, just to create content, to be putting myself in places that I feel inspired to make another video or film something epic or talk about something. So that's what makes my van life so expensive, is the YouTube side of my life. And I do buy things for my channel for YouTube content. Take this for example. My luggable loo. I bought this luggable loo because I was sitting one day and I'm like, hey, you know what? There's a Canadian Tire right there. Let's go buy a toilet and make a toilet video. And that's what I did, making my toilet a business expense. You know what I'm saying? But there are things that I have on my luxury want list, because we all have a list of things that we want. So I have a list of luxury wants, and things like the little tinted little rain louvers over my side windows, or my poop bucket, or whatever, like switches or a bigger deep cycle battery. All those things were on my luxury list, not a dead necessity that I needed to survive. So I do buy and consume things like that for the channel, because buying a poop bucket made for a good video and it was a business expense. Buying the louvers for my windows made for a video and a business expense. Deep cycle battery, I could have been cool to have a bigger one, but it was also a business expense. You know what I'm saying? So when you're seeing things like that going on my channel, keep in mind that some of that is business. Okay, now that you know why my van life is so freaking expensive, let's talk about it from the basics to my total expenses, which are insanity. Okay. Money. Always a really crappy subject for me to talk about. I don't like talking about money. It's not very exciting. All right, Chromie, what do we got here? My expenses, I'm on the basic side of my expenses. Insurance, cell phone, gym, food, gas, and dog. Included a little fatty in there because he eats. I'm going to break these down a little bit more, answer some questions that usually always come up when I mentioned medical or I mentioned cell phone, why it's so expensive, or insurance, why it's so expensive. So I'm going to break this down and cover some of those reasons. My insurance on the van is $172 Canadian. Here in British Columbia, Canada, we have one insurance company. They have a monopoly on the insurance out here, which meaning that there's nobody fighting for a cheaper rate. I talked to somebody at the Nomad meetup that I'm at right now in Lillooet, BC, that lives in Ontario, or is from Ontario, which is a couple provinces over, and he's paying like half of that for his van. So that just kind of goes to show, depending on where you are, depending on where you live, is going to depend on your insurance. And you either get off good or you get off crappy like me and pay a lot. So $172 for insurance, which isn't so bad considering that insurance covers the cost of my van for whatever the value of my van is upon whatever happens to it. But it also covers up to $5,000 more for anything that is bolted to the van that you have a receipt for. My cabinets. If you have the receipt for these things, they cover it. My burner, which is bolted to the cabinet that I have a receipt for, that cabinet is bolted to the floor, making it covered in that additional $5,000 that they attach to your insurance at no extra cost. It's just there, which is pretty freaking sweet, meaning that my van build is covered. Bonus. Anything that's not bolted down, gone. But you get it. So $90 for a cell phone. That expense has risen a lot for me. My cell phone. I have a cell phone, and I have a brand new phone I'm recording on right now. I'm recording on the iPhone XS Max. Business write-off, by the way. This is my old iPhone 7 that I vlogged on for the first year and a half of my channel. But I just finished adding a fairly hefty data plan on this phone. And this is where you in the US get off pretty darn easy. 10 gigs on the cell phone plan, $90. No unlimited data, because we have no such thing as unlimited data in Canada. Like, not even, hey, 10 gigs, and then we'll just taper it down to really slow speed and you can have unlimited data to your next bill. No. If I use 11 gigs, I guarantee you that extra 1 gig is probably going to cost me $20. It's insanity. But $90 for a cell phone bill, and the reason why I added extra data to my phone is because I want to keep my Patreon a little bit more connected to me than I did in the past, which means I needed data on my phone to be able to send them videos and pictures and stuff like that to keep them connected. So once again, cell phone, still a business write-off for me, but another additional business add-on. So if you have cheaper cell phone, it's gonna be cheaper. Gym membership, $48 Canadian. Is it worth it? I'm really not too sure. Sometimes it is, sometimes I feel like it's not. I do keep it because there's been a few times I've been in a town and I get there and my gym has its own private bathroom and it's just me in there, my own shower stall, the whole bit. And it feels really nice sometimes to go there and have a shower. Sometimes it makes that $48 worth it just for that one shower. So I do keep it, but you might also keep in mind on your travels, are you going to be around them enough to make it feasible? And $48 is expensive. I know there is other companies that are cheaper, but those companies in Canada, they're not widely enough available to make it worth it. So the one gym that is widely available is expensive. So once that other gym starts to become more and more available, I will probably shift over. Food, I figured out $200 a month for food because I've actually been eating in the van a lot more, which has brought my food expenses down quite a bit. And dog, I figured $50 for the dog. That should cover food, treats, and whatever else you might need per month. And gas, I smudged this number a little bit and brought it down to what I think it would be if I didn't YouTube. I figure I could probably get away with about $200 a month for gas in this big van. Like, it's a 2004 Ford Econoline with a V8 engine in it. The 4.6 liter, it's a smaller one, but it still sucks the fuel. It's hungry. So at about $200 for gas if I didn't YouTube and travel like I do. Bringing my entire van life to $760 Canadian, which is like $550 US. I don't know, someone could do the exchange rate. But $760 Canadian for my base van life, which is pretty freaking awesome. So if I was living my life like some of you out there that just want to live in a van and not do any online business like I am that consumes a lot more money, then you could do this for probably $500 to $800 a month US or $600 to $900 Canadian, which is beautiful. Like, come on, so much fun. So, and also in Canada, we're not going to get into this because I know people start blah blahing in the comments. We don't pay for medical here. Well, we do. If you make above a certain amount of money, you got to pay like $75 a month into medical. But then everything in Canada is covered. All my surgeries, all my doctor appointments, anything you need is covered. I'm not a doctor guy. I very rarely go to the doctor. I've been there once in like 10 years. But, but that's free here. So I don't pay for my medical, so medical's free for me. And if I happen to make more and more money in the years to come, which would be super rad, I'd have to pay $75 a month into medical, but I hear they're squishing that fee entirely. I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah. So the basics is $760. And before we dive into anything farther on here, please keep in mind when you're watching YouTube channels like me and we're talking about our monthly expenses, remember that your area you live in, the country you live in, the province you live in, the state you live in is all gonna change for everybody. Some people have low gas prices. We're probably the biggest gas price out there. Our gas is $1.76 per liter. That's 3.8 liters in a US gallon, making our gas like $6 to $7 a gallon. It's insanity. But keep that in mind too. And also remember your insurances and other things you might need. So yeah, no matter how you look at van life, it's gonna be way cheaper than rent. And there's no freaking way that renting a super, super, super cheap place, because I know there's some places around, not here in Canada, in the US where you can get rent for like $400 somewhere in some small little town. But keep in mind that van life is going to give you way more fun and adventure, and keep that brain just snapping through all these amazing things you're going to see every day from living in it. So it's just more fun. Yeah, so hopefully that answers questions about the basics, and that answers the questions about why my van life is so expensive. So let's dive into why my van life is over $2,250 per month. My van life. Mine. And that fluctuates. Sometimes it's $2,500. Okay, so I have a van payment for $340 per month because I financed my van. That payment is going to be over soon. Taking my $760 to a base core of $1,100 per month, which I still say is pretty damn good, considering my rent alone, just my rent before was $1,300. So that's even at $1,100. Man, I had a car payment before, craziness. So now my biggest expense after my basic, it's the very first time you've heard my phone make a beeping noise on here now, is it? It's Patrick. And messages from Patreon. It's kind of weird to have my extra phone, which is cool now because now if I want to like show you guys something, I can. So here's where my YouTube expenses jump in, and this is where it gets pricey. I'm probably spending at least a minimum of about $400 above my $200 base gas price on fuel. So, and depending if I travel more, like if I catch the ferry to the island, that's $75 each way. And if I catch multiple ferries while I'm out there going to other islands while I'm there, that's an extra $50 per ferry or whatever it is. So my YouTube expenses get to be pretty pricey. I spend about $145 on music for my channel. That's I belong to 3 different music sources. So that's buying my music for my channel, and also I have a app that helps me out with designing thumbnails, and another app that I use for analytics that helps me with tags. So all of that's about $145 or $150 for just basic stuff I need to just function on the channel. Then I got the fuel costs. So now we're bringing my van life up to like around $1,800 depending on the month. Then if I happen to buy things like toilet or a fan or a battery just to make a video, that's another extra expense, making sometimes this stuff pretty pricey. And if we're going into places like when I went into that dinosaur museum a little while back, that was an entry fee to go into that museum. So all those things that you guys see are all business expenses for me. And a lot of times I go into those places just to make content for the channel. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a freaking blast while I'm there. But a lot of those places I go are mainly for the channel, and you guys get it. I'm sure you guys will figure that out. And then I have my daughter on top of that. My daughter is actually a pretty large expense on 2 sides of that story. Because I pay for her dance, so I have all of her dance stuff and all that stuff that goes on with having the daughter. But there's a lot of travel expenses that go into having her as well too. So because I see her 1 day every other week. So when I travel away for a few weeks, that travel back is just to see her. So I have all those expenses to come back to see her. Then I go away again, then I got to come back and see her. Then I go away again, I got to come back and see her. So all those little travels you see me going on, every time I pop into Vancouver for a very short visit, it's only to see her for a day, and then I'm bouncing back out again. But so those are expenses that do come into play that you guys won't have. But that's it. That's why my van life is so pricey. It is more expensive for me because I do YouTube for a living. all of my money comes from here. So thank you all for spending your time with me every day. Thank you to everybody who buys merchandise from my store. And also, just so you guys know, I have some brand new pieces of merchandise which are in my store right now. I haven't even received mine yet. I haven't even ordered mine yet. But there's some new designs that are just so freaking awesome. You're going to love them. Check them out. My Teespring link is down below. But before we go on, guys, my income, just so you guys know what I do for a living, this is it. This is where my money is, and I feel honored and so privileged, and it's just such a good feeling to know that I can earn a living from YouTube. I can earn a living from here, not because it's good money, but because I live in a van and my living expenses are definitely a lot lower. And obviously, if I made less money on YouTube, I would travel a lot less because I couldn't afford it. And you will see those times sometimes where, you know, I sit in Vancouver for a couple of weeks or even a month and I don't travel very far. That's because I'm not making very good money the month before, meaning I can't travel as much the following month. But, you know, I try to keep us moving and going and doing cool things and traveling to cool places because it inspires me to make videos. If I stay in one spot, I don't feel inspired. I don't even feel like turning on my camera because it's like, I need something to kind of spark my excitement. Okay. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everybody on my Patreon for seriously making all of this happen. I love you guys to freaking pieces. Thanks for watching today's video. And if you want to come over and join us on Patreon, please do. I upload stuff to them on a daily. Like, they even got a video of CRUZ Bear passed out sleeping already this morning. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, the comments are the place to be blasting them. And I'll see you all on the next one. Hopefully this answered some questions on why my freaking life is so pricey. And, I don't know, helped you out with the basics. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy this rainy day. I'll put my finger on the lens. I don't know where the lens is on this thing. There it is.
'Cause I always find a way. Drug it through the mud and feeling down was my escape. Yeah, yeah. Staying there was never in the game.